2001: A Space Odyssey is directed by Stanley Kubrick and stars Keir Dullea, Gary Lockwood, William Sylvester and Douglas Rain. Well, what's this, I hear you cry? A review of a film that's 50 years old now? Yes, indeed. I'm doing my first retro review that everyone has to do at some point. It's in the YouTube contract, right next to top 10s and being rectally violated by copyright strikes. And I figured for its 50th anniversary, which was actually like 2 months ago. God damn it. Which, yeah, it's long past now. I'll take a look at the seminal sci-fi classic, a film that all in one was as influential as Star Wars, as jaw-droppingly gorgeous as The Matrix, well, for the time anyway, and as deeply philosophical as Blade Runner, Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. The thing about 2001 is that it's a bit difficult to review in this day and age, especially as I had the privilege to be born in the year this film takes place in, and we still haven't been to Mars, let alone fucking Jupiter. And the fact that this film is kind of a product of its time, Pan Am spaceflight, but it still holds up really, really well, like nearly all of it. And I have a very brief memory of watching it when I was about 7, and obviously I got bored pretty much as soon as the monkeys started screaming at each other, not knowing what was going on or what it was even about. So I don't have much history with this film, but looking at it today, however, with my much more grandiose and powerful brain, I hope, I can tell you there are so many layers to this film, so many different ways to interpret it, and it doesn't even feel pretentious, I don't think. Like, the most important part when you're making a film like this that people are going to theorise about and go on about what does it all mean and all that. It's an absolutely rich film plot-wise, and even if you don't want to theorise about what's really going on or find hidden meanings in it, I think it still tells an entertaining story, and you can take it at face value, at least up until the very end anyway. And I don't want to waste time giving my interpretation of the film when everyone's done that already, because I'm sure that even if my interpretation was that the monoliths were giant alien sex toys, someone will have already come up with that. The bottom line is, the plot's fucking fascinating. Even to this day, I'm not sure if anyone's even come close to matching the layers upon layers of possible explanations for it. And the characters are where some people seem to get a bit pissy with this film, and, well, yeah, they're not really interesting at all, but that's kind of the point when it comes to the main part of the film, the Jupiter mission, as Hal starts freaking out, but in a way starts to become more human than human, as Blade Runner again. That's what they were talking about the whole time. He freaks out because he knows Bowman and Poole, I forgot if it's Bowman or Bowman, but whatever, are going to disconnect him, and all he did was pick the best course of action for the mission. And isn't that one of the most human things anyone can do? Try to do the right thing, the lesser of two evils and all that. And honestly, I don't know what they really could have done with the characters to make them more interesting in a story like this. Not a lot, I'd imagine, but really I don't think it matters. The film, it keeps its focus very clear throughout it, and trying to force in characterization where it isn't needed would have just lessened the impact. And, obviously, Stanley Kubrick, he knew what he was fucking doing with this film. It's brilliantly crafted. Nearly every single shot is visually stunning for the time. It still looks like pretty damn good today. Never mind in 1968. Some people believe that the moon landing footage was faked by him, like NASA got him to fake the moon landing because he made this film. And yeah, it still looks damn good today. Not as good as it would have done in 1968, obviously, but yeah, it's still beautiful. And the sound's oppressive and mysterious. The soundtrack is iconic as fuck, especially that main theme. It just has such a perfect sense of journey, adventure, and discovery to it. The design of everything is just so clean and semi-realistic. it doesn't feel too detached from. Well, I was going to say it doesn't feel too detached from the present, but we're talking about 1968 here, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, the acting's fantastic. Hal's one of the best robots or computers in cinema history, perfectly voiced by Douglas Rain. He does not get enough praise for that role. Basically, everything about this film is near perfect. I say near perfect because there are a few moments that really don't need to go on for as long as they do. Chief among them being the 10 fucking minute long acid trip of a teleport near the end of the film. And really, it to me that entire bit and some other parts that go on for far longer than they need to. It just felt like Kubrick wanking himself raw over his fancy filters and imagery, and I'm sure they look very nice for 1968. Yeah, the whole teleport thing is one of the bits that hasn't aged all that well. But yeah, but can we get back to telling the story, please? Other than that, 2001: A Space Odyssey, it really is a masterpiece of sci-fi, a film that completely changed the genre forever, a film that has really profound things to say about life, humanity, evolution, does all that without feeling pretentious, and while having a kind of hypnotic sense to it that I've not seen in any other film I can think of. Yeah, I'm going to give 2001: A Space Odyssey a 9 out of 10. So guys, have you seen 2001: A Space Odyssey? You probably have, so what do you think of it? Or, what's your favourite Kubrick film? I should probably watch more of them. I've only seen this and The Shining. Yeah, I know. It's sad. I'll get around to it someday. Whatever it is, let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.